Hi, good afternoon. Let me just make sure that I am live here. And it looks like we are live. So good afternoon. Carol Buckalew with Inky Bee Stampers. Thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am going to be sharing with you today a Easel birthday card. And I've made this using the framed Florets stamp sets and dies and the fitting Florets 12x12 designer series paper. And these Easel fun folds are really great. Hey Karen, thanks so much for joining. They're great for showing off pretty designer series paper. So let's, oh, thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. So let's get started. Right up front, I'm going to apologize. Every fall, I get like these fall allergies, and I cough and sneeze, and I'm all nasally. I wasn't sure yesterday if I was going to be able to go live today because I was losing my voice, and hopefully it will hold out today. But I have my cough drops here, and I have a cold drink here, so hopefully I will be able to make it through this video without too much fuss. So I am starting out here with a card base in polished pink, and this is just a standard card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, and I have scored it at 2 inches and 4 1/4. And we're going to set this aside for a minute because we don't really need it just yet. You know, this is kind of, I guess I would call this the card base, and maybe this is like the card front. We'll call this piece the card front. So this is the one we are going to work on here. And I've got a piece of designer series paper from the Fitting Florets DSP pack. And this paper is so incredibly pretty. And before I jumped on this video, I did check, and you can no longer, or at least right now, you can't get the Fitting Florets whole collection, the whole suite, because the gold swirl embellishments are not orderable right now. It's kind of unclear if they're no longer available or they're just out of stock right now, because it's kind of showing up in both places. However, you can still order all the individual components of this collection, and I highly recommend that you do. The designer series paper, the gold swirls, and the I had to turn around and look at my stamp set. The framed and festive stamp set are only while supplies last. Hey Rosie, thanks for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this DSP panel to my polished pink card front here. Faith, hi, thank you so much for joining. And we'll go ahead and get this adhered on here. And I've got this cut 1/8 of an inch smaller than my card front, so that we get a 1/16 inch reveal all the way around the edges here, so that pretty pink shows through. I love this darker green with the polished pink. I think it's just such a pretty combination for papers. All right. I've got a bit of die cutting here, and I'm going to, you know, I've already done this just so it wouldn't take a lot of time. But I did cut out, let me grab my die set here. I call this the ornate frame from this set, but I cut this frame out in basic white cardstock. And then I cut out this frame, oval, in the polished pink, and I'll get to that in just a second, but I wanted you to see what it was that I used to die cut these pieces. And I did cut out two of the kind of open leaves from the set. One, I used just both of these to cut these out in basic white. But I wanted to share that with you and just show you. But what I'm going to do here first is I am going to go ahead and get a little bit of stamping out of the way. And I selected these sentiments from the Frame Florets stamp set, and I'm going to stamp these in Evening Evergreen. And this sentiment, wishes for a beautiful birthday, and the font on these sentiments is really, really fun, very pretty. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp this here in the middle of our white oval. Hopefully I got that straight. That looks pretty good. And then I am, let me see here, what did I do with my other? So I went ahead and from the Stylish Shapes dies, which I have here, I cut out the second to smallest banner, and I cut it twice. I cut it in basic white, which is what I'm going to stamp the sentiment on. But then I cut it a second time in polished pink, and I'll show you here in a minute what I do with that. Oh, Rosie, you definitely need to make some birthday cards with this set. They make the prettiest birthday cards, I think. Pretty Christmas cards, too. On this banner die, or on this banner sentiment label, I'm going to stamp the word celebrate. This is also from the stamp set. And let me make sure I get that straight. And great thing about photopolymer stamps, you can see through them. And so you can see where you are stamping. It makes it lots easier. You know what? One more thing here. Let me cap my glue. I always forget to cap it, and then I wonder why it's got cookies on it when I go to use it. On my envelope front, I am going to stamp a little leaf image here. I'm looking for my original card here. All right. So on my original card on the envelope, I actually stamped the image of the two flowers, and I stamped them in polished pink, and then I colored them using petal pink, polished pink, and soft succulent. And it gave it just a different look. And I'm not sure if I like it or not, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it's pretty. You know, and maybe if I had stamped the flowers in black, but I just was trying to do something different here. But I'm going to change it up for today's card. And on the envelope front, I'm just going to stamp leaves in soft succulent. You can let me know if you like the double polished pink type flowers or not. But I thought I'd go a little more traditional here for this card and just stamp the leaves. Alrighty, there we go. I said soft succulent, didn't I? Evening Evergreen, I stamped that in. And that is it for the stamping on this card. That's it, just the sentiments and the envelope front. And let me set this aside to dry. And we'll get back to our card front here. So what I need to do is, I need to adhere this white oval onto our card front. And I've got a new bottle of glue here, so hopefully we don't get messes everywhere. I'm good for that. I squeezed too hard. But on this frame, it's a little tricky to kind of just get, you know, just, it's so thin, the frame. So you just have to take your time. And I should have grabbed my tweezers. I don't know why I didn't. kind of like watching the glue dry, isn't it? Watching me put it on here. Yeah, I'm going to have little squishies. I can tell right now I'm getting too much. But that's okay. We'll clean it up. It happens. All right, I'm just going to flip this around. Oh, that's a great idea, Rosie. Stamp the flower images in smoky slate. It's softer. That is a wonderful idea. You're a smart cookie there, Rosie. But we knew that already. I'm just trying to kind of get my card centered up here on my grid paper. I think, to be honest with you, I think my head's really still foggy from this sinus stuff going on. But I'm going to do my best here to get this frame centered on the card, top to bottom, left to right. And we'll just kind of gently pat it down there, and hopefully I don't get too many glue squishies, although I see them already. So let me clean those up before they get yucky. Boy, I really had some squishes. There we go. I find that my tweezer point is great at getting that excess glue up, though, before it gets tacky. All right, I think we're good there. Okay, let me get the glue off my fingers. All right, and then we are going to go ahead and take our oval sentiment, and we're going to go ahead and glue this to the card front as well. I'm just looking for my card here. Make sure I follow what I did on the original. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the center. And I like the glue because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room if you need it. Okay, very good. And then I had mentioned that I had cut a second oval from the other oval frame in the set. And this oval frame, I don't know if you can see it, but it leaves pretty little etches around the edges. And then on the interior, it has like a double engraved line around the interior of this oval. Super pretty. I do not need the insert for this oval for this project, so I'm going to set that aside for another future project. But this oval is going to get adhered over top of the white ornate frame to just kind of frame our sentiment. Makes it real pretty. And I'll go ahead and get this one adhered, and hopefully a little lighter on the glue. We'll see. You're only smart on Wednesdays between 9 and 11. You're too funny, Rosie. You make me laugh. So last week I mentioned that I got together on Friday with a girlfriend. We drove down to the Delaware beaches. There are outlets down there. And we hit a number of beach towns, and we hit some outlet stores. And we, it was really just a relaxing day. We had a nice long leisurely breakfast, and then we had lunch, and just a nice day. But it's very possible that I got the sniffles traveling around in rain that day. It rained all day. Although we were actually quite lucky. And I'm just sorry, I'm just trying to get this as even as possible. There we go. We were quite lucky, when we had to travel from point A to B, it would rain. And as soon as we would get where we were going to, the rain would stop. So we actually lucked out like the entire day. We didn't get drenched or anything, but it was very damp and, I know, Faith, I love these ovals. They are just so pretty. And I've seen people doing some really great creative things with them. And I'm looking forward to making some more Christmas cards with this set for sure, because I think it's just so beautiful. All right. In fact, I made a card the other day using the oval And then I stamped a flower image in the center and did some inking. Rosie, I prefer rain over snow too. You got 6 inches of snow yesterday. Wow, and 19-degree temperatures. Holy moly. Well, you can keep that there. We're doing just fine here. All right. So from the Fitting Florets Designer Series paper, there is a die in the set, and let me see which one it is. I believe it's this die right here. But this die will cut out the flowers on one of the pieces of paper in the Designer Series paper pack. So this die cuts out the 2 little flowers, and they're in kind of a darker pink, and then there's a lighter pink, not those, that look just like this, that this particular die will cut out. So I did die cut those flowers, and we are going to situate those flowers right up here. And then from the same piece of paper, I fussy cut kind of this multi-flower image. I just thought it was pretty with like the little daisies and the little blueberries here. And there's some pink berries there too, I didn't notice. And so we're going to situate those there. Now, what I need to do though, and what you need to be mindful of, 63 is a heat wave here, Faith. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're at 63, Faith. Yeah, we're in the 50s today. And we had a freeze 2 nights ago. Not last night, yeah. The night before we had a freeze. But what I started to say was that when you're placing these flowers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use dimensionals, but I'm also going to just use a little bit of glue on this side to make contact with that frame, just so, the flowers aren't kind of flopping around. So let me go ahead and get some dimensionals here. And I put these on my tweezers. We'll see if that works for me or not. I think they're going to get in my way, to be honest with you. Let me peel those off. Get those Stampin' covers off. Stampin' dimensional covers. I swear this weekend I found like 3 Stampin' dimensional covers, all in different rooms. I'm so careful with these things. I try not to, try to drop them everywhere. Try to throw them in my little waste bin that I keep in my crafting area. And yeah, it just never works out. So I was finding those around this weekend. So I kind of want to just angle this, and I want it to kind of partially fall over that white frame. And we'll go ahead and get it stuck down. And if you don't, if you didn't get enough dimensionals under these flowers, you can always tuck one in after the fact. Like I probably could use one right there. It's not, yeah, actually, let me do that. So what I do is I cut my dimensionals in half, and I stick it to the side of my tweezers. I remove the cover, and then I just kind of come in and tuck that under and press down. See if it worked. Oh, yeah, it worked. Okay. And then you're able to kind of slip a dimensional underneath there. And then these flowers, I had them turned the wrong way. They fit a little bit better this way. And I'm just trying to see where I need dimensionals here. So let's see here if we can get some dimensionals and without running in to our card frame there. And if you may need to trim down a dimensional for this piece, and I'm actually going to do that. I want to put a small piece on that flower stem there because it's just a tad floppy. Yeah. Rosie, I was in the kitchen and I looked down and there was one on the floor, and then I was in the bathroom and there was one on the floor. And I don't know if the dogs maybe picked them up and you know, they get on the dogs and then they move around and that's how they get deposited. Or possibly I could have had them stuck to me as well. That's happened before. But so before I take those dimensional covers all off, I want to just make sure that those dimensionals are not interfering with my frame, and they are not. So we're good there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these covers. '63 in Missouri would be shorts weather. Oh my goodness. No, too cold. Too cold, Karen. I could do 70 degrees maybe, but not 60. I don't know. The older I get, the colder I get. It seems that way anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue here. That was probably a lot of glue, but and we're going to go ahead and stick down our second set of flowers here. You just want to be careful that it doesn't extend over the edge here. All right, bring in my card base. So this is the inside of the card. And I chose a second piece of paper. See, I've got little dimensional covers flying everywhere here. All right, so I have a second piece of paper from the DSP pack and a smaller print. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside of our card base. And all of the measurements for this card are on my blog today. And you can go check it out there at inkybstampers.com. Whoa. See, this is why I love glue. All right, there we go. Put that down. And then I have a little piece of white here. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere a strip of the Evening Evergreen gingham to this white strip. And this will go on the inside of the card to, you know, give the person a place to write. And we'll go ahead and get this glued up. So my husband was really happy. So when we were down at the beach on Friday, we drove down to Fenwick Island. There's this great little country store, and people come from miles around to buy their fudge. They have homemade fudge, and it is to die for. So I brought home some fudge, and my husband was really happy. His favorite is peanut butter. I need to trim just a smidge of that paper strip off just to make it flush there with my white panel. And I'm going to go ahead and glue down this white panel. Yeah, I've always kind of been a glue girl, Faith. I just prefer it. So the benefit of making a card, the same card twice, and yes, my DSP panel maybe didn't need to be that big, but that's how I designed this card. You know, I could have just had a thin strip there, but I preferred, well, let me show you what I did with the original card. And that's not it. That's my card front. So on the original card, I actually cut the white panel 1/8 of an inch smaller than the DSP in the background so that it would actually show through. I don't mind the look of this. but some people may not prefer it, you know. So I thought on this card, I would go ahead and just, you know, make the white panel the same width as that DSP panel. Okay, we are actually almost done here. So remember I mentioned that I had cut a second banner using the stylish shaped dies from Polished Pink. I am going to go ahead and cut this banner in half, and more glue, and I'm going to glue these pink pieces behind the white to, you know, just make it look like a mat on the sentiment label. The only thing you need to be careful of is making sure you have the same amount of reveal on both sides. And we'll see if I can accomplish that. Yeah, peanut butter fudge is pretty awesome. I always make fudge at Christmas time, and my guys really look forward to it. It was something that my grandmother always did for the family. She would make 5 pounds of fudge and divvy it up among everybody. And we looked forward to that Christmas gift more than anything in the world, was my grandmother's fudge. And then as she, you know, was aging, you have to stir that fudge for a really long time when it's cooking. And it really became too difficult and too heavy for her to really manage. And so I took over the role as fudge maker in the family. And so I still make 5 pounds of fudge every Christmas. And, you know, everybody gets a little container of fudge, and I give some to the neighbors and that kind of thing. We don't eat 5 pounds of fudge. Yeah. All right. So what I think, let me see here. Let me think about this. I'm going to go ahead and put our sentiment label down. And this banner label will act as a stop for our easel card. For some reason today, I feel like I am just all, oh, your home address, sure, Karen. Oh, and then my mom and I bake all kinds of cookies at Christmas time. It's just, it gets out of hand. We used to make, no lies, it would take a whole weekend, and we would make something like 7 or 8 different kinds of cookies, and then make up these big cookie trays, you know, to set out if you had people stop over or whatever. And I think I've gotten her down to now 4 different types of cookies, because nobody needs that many sweets in the house. I sure don't. All right, let me get these dimensional covers off. You know, but it's just a fun time of year, and it's kind of tradition that we do that. We do have this really awesome sugar cookie recipe. They're very kind of light and crispy. They're very fragile, but really delicious. And that's kind of one of my favorites. That and the chocolate chip cookies, of course. Oh, you just sent some fudge and cookies to your granddaughters. Aw. Yep, most requested Christmas gift. Yep. I hear ya. So I am going to center this smaller banner label on the card, inside of the card, and about 1/4 inch up from the bottom. And let me hold that up and make sure I've got it straight. I do. I just thought I'd put that on before I put this outside. So back to our outside piece, I forgot to tuck in our 2 little leaves here. So they are going to get tucked in along the pink frame, just like that. And let me get those glued down. Yeah, traditions are a great thing. You know, it just, like my sons, if I didn't make fudge and cookies at Christmas, oh my gosh, they would be like, what is going on? Yeah, they look forward to that. They have real sweet tooths, that's for sure. Of course, so does my husband. You know, but after the holidays, it's kind of like, enough with the sweet stuff. I'm making you hungry. Sorry, Faith. Yeah. I don't know how. Oh, I got on the topic by talking about driving down to Fenwick Island to get fudge. Okay. Get this leaf tucked under here. Okay. So this is our card front, our card base. I am going to apply glue on this lower section of the card front only. If you put glue up here, your easel card won't work. You'll have just a regular card. So we want to apply glue to just this bottom section. You could use Stampin' Steel as well. I've been practicing a little bit more with the Stampin' Seal. I might be getting it a little bit better. You have a mouse in your house and his name is Tom, and he sneaks into the cookies and other holiday baking during the night when everyone else is asleep. When something is missing, we blame the mouse. Yep. My husband has a funny story. So I guess his mom also used to make fudge for Christmas, and she would hide it in the attic so that, you know, supposedly so that the kids wouldn't eat all the fudge before Christmas time. And the kids would go to bed. My husband had one sister. And, you know, Mark and Nancy would go to bed, and they would hear the attic stairs go down after they went to bed at night. And then by Christmas, his mom would be complaining that somebody ate all the fudge. Well, it was her sneaking up into the attic to get into the fudge. It was really funny. My mother-in-law was a hoot. We really miss her. She was a great lady. A lot of fun. All right, so that is our little card. And how am I doing here? I am past a half an hour, so my apologies. I'm probably yakking too much. So let me find the other piece. I have misplaced the rest of the card. Hold on. Goodness gracious. Let me go ahead and get this piece of DSP onto our envelope flap. Oh, thanks so much, Faith. Thank you, Rosie. I've said this before. I don't think you could make an unattractive card with this collection of products, with the fitting florets or frame florets products, because it's just so pretty. Really beautiful. Oh, I know, Rosie. I miss our weekly Zoom meetings, and it's only been, what, this is only the second meeting we haven't had? Is that right? Can't remember. Alrighty. Just so you know, December 14th at 7 p.m., I am going to start up Craft and Chat sessions. If you are interested, you will need to email me at inkybstampers@gmail.com and let me know if you're interested. I am going to limit my Craft and Chat sessions to 45 minutes and to 10 people, just so that everybody can have a chance to you know, to actually chat. And it's just to share techniques, give you time to work on projects, you know, dedicated time to work on your crafting projects, whatever. And I plan on doing these, if they take off, I plan on doing them every second Wednesday of the month. So we'll see how that goes. But the first one is December 14th. And if you're interested in participating, email me. My email is right here, inkybstampers@gmail.com, and I'll get you on the list. And what else do I need to tell you quickly? There is a seasonal sale going on right now. It started November 15th. It will end on the 18th, so just a couple of more days to take advantage of that seasonal sale. You can get 10% off of punches, 15% off of all stamps, 20% off all dies, 20% off all embossing folders, and 20% off all non-specialty designer series paper. So that's some great savings. Oh, thank you, Karen. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, the instructions are on my blog for this card. So if you're interested in some savings right before Christmas, either for yourself or as, you know, items to gift to somebody, it's a great way to save some money and get some fabulous products. So be sure to check that out. I do have the details on my blog. And with that, this is the card for today. And I appreciate so much you joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And I will talk to you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.